Hello and welcome to our latest recording about our strategic partners. Today, I'm going to be joined by Nat Tipper. Nat is from Payroll Sorted, and Nat's going to be talking to you all about how Payroll Sorted can reduce your stress, improve the time you have with regards to all of your payroll woes. I'm specifically going to be talking to her about why they don't white label their product, because I find it a fascinating idea and a slightly different perspective. So if you like what you hear and you want to hear more from us at the Accounts Mastermind, please click like on this video and also click subscribe to our channel. If you want to talk to Payroll Sorted and be introduced to the right people within Payroll Sorted, click on the link somewhere in the description below and we will put you in touch. Thanks for watching. So welcome, Nat, from Payroll Sorted. You may notice by looking at the back here, we've got some very lavish settings, and it's not even a Zoom background, is it? You're over in France at the moment.
I am. It's definitely not my house, unfortunately. But it's a lovely chateau. I've been staying in with the family. So yeah, it's beautiful. But it does look like a fake backdrop, doesn't it?
It does. Brilliant. Yeah. So you've been with us as strategic partners in the Accounts Mastermind. If you just want to give us a very quick a quick introduction to yourself and what you do at Payroll Sorted, that would be great.
Yeah, so my name's Natalie. I'm the client relationship manager at Payroll Sorted. I have been here for, must be coming up to 7 years now. Been in various roles whilst I've been here, but my primary role now is really looking after our partner accountants, getting new ones on board, and then obviously taking care of them once they're over that first month's onboarding from a sort of account management perspective. But I'm also really still heavily involved in the operational side of the business. You know, we're not so big that we've got so many people that Ben and I don't have to get stuck in. So yes, I have sort of varying roles here still, but that's my primary one.
And so how would you describe the biggest frustration that you solve for your customers?
Oh gosh, there's a few. So one of the most common things I'm hearing at the moment is about finding payroll people. So accountants often have a small in-house payroll team, or they might be running the payrolls themselves and are a small or new practice. Finding good payroll people is challenging, especially if you want them to be in the office, because it's quite hard to find local people with the skill set. So I feel like at the moment, the recruitment side of it is a big challenge. We've got ways around that with how we recruit our team. But obviously the main thing is just removing the stress of payroll. And believe me, I get what the stress of payroll is. It's my my life. So I think when I speak to a lot of accountants when we do our discovery calls, I think the main thing is it's just relentless deadlines, and more so than the actual payroll itself, it's dealing with the clients, the queries, the questions, the endless communication, which takes them away from maybe higher value work or work that they should be focusing on to deliver the best possible service they can for their clients. They're being pulled into payroll related things, which is maybe a bit of a waste of their time or their team's time. So I think by using our services and outsourcing in the way that we do it, just frees them up from that really, and allows them to focus on other areas of the business without having the strain of payroll on their team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a common conversation I have with some of our accountants, is that they have a payroll person. And of course, you know, Sod's Law says that they're going to need a holiday, or they're going to be off sick on the days that they need to, so they get dragged back in. And I think that's a common pain. And then the idea to recruit a second person just to cover that just isn't viable. And then finding somebody who might do a bit of bookkeeping and a bit of payroll is also a problem as well.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine it's a very common thing for when people talk about team problems and stuff like that when we're working through stuff. That's often a big bugbear. So we had a webinar with you guys some time ago, and one of the things that I absolutely loved was a question that came through about do you white label? And I think that's one of the things for me that sets you apart from all the others. And I loved the answer to the question. So could you just share that again with us? So effectively, I'm asking, do you white label?
Yeah. So this comes up a lot because a lot of people, when they're outsourcing, want to white label because they want it to very much appear like a combined service that they're offering. We used to white label. We have done it. We have no partners we do it for anymore, which is really good progress for us. But the reason we don't do it is because we found it very difficult to build a relationship with the end client when we're almost acting a little bit. So if, you know, a lot of our partners have very close relationships with their clients and know them really well. So if we're then dealing with that end client and they ask us a question about our partner, or, you know, what the weather's like where they are, or something about someone in the team there, and we don't know it, it just became really difficult, and it felt very fake. We're all about transparency in everything we do, in every aspect of what Payroll Sorted does. Transparency is key, and it just felt like for us it wasn't the right fit, and made it very difficult for us to scale as well, because if we had, you know, 100 partners all white labeling, the infrastructure that involves is very hard to manage and maintain. So yeah, we just decided we weren't going to do that anymore, and I think it's the best thing we ever did. And clients actually prefer it, because if they find out that they've kind of had the wool pulled over their eyes and they thought they were dealing with an accountancy practice, but actually they're dealing with a completely different party, I think in this day and age people don't really like that. They just like to be really open and know who they're working with. So
yeah, brilliant. And I think some of the fear around not white labeling is very much with the accountant as opposed to the customer itself. But you also help with that as well, don't you? I believe you help with the letters and things like that of introducing yourselves.
Yeah, 100%. So when we're onboarding, we firstly onboard a partner to get them set up in our sort of partner arrangements. They clearly understand the service, and then they can also sell it as part of their own, sales strategy. But once we've got the partner on board and we're onboarding clients, we have an onboarding team that manage that process to try and make it as smooth as possible. It's always going to be a little bit challenging in the first month, especially if you're outsourcing lots of clients. First month's the hardest, but we work with the partner to help them communicate to the end clients why they're working with us, why they've chosen to outsource, and why they've chosen us in particular. And then when it comes to the actual client side, we send welcome emails which are specific to them, and also we call them in that first month as well, just to say, if you had your welcome email, is everything okay, have you got any questions, just to have a bit more of a personable touch, because outsourcing is often looked as not being a very personable relationship, I think. So we try to maintain that at the same time as being able to deliver a scalable, standardized service. So yeah.
And the last fear, I think the biggest one is about losing customers to you, which I know you also have something around that as well.
Yeah, so we would be really, really stupid to take a client from an accountant, because the bigger picture is, firstly, we would lose that accountant as a partner. And secondly, if word got out, oh, Payroll Sorted poached your clients from you, then we wouldn't have a business at all. So we're very, again, open about that. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes we get approached by clients who are leaving a partner and they say, we're really happy with you guys, can we stay with you? And we just have a transparent, we let the partner know that they've asked to do that, and we get the bigger picture. If they weren't comfortable with us contracting direct, then we absolutely never would, and it's an easy one to say, no, we've got a contract in place. So it's very easy to bat those kind of questions off, and clients can't see our pricing either. Obviously, for accountants, our pricing is different because we get the scale there, so we can charge them lower prices. If we ever had a direct client, which we hardly ever take on anyway, the prices would be much higher, and we don't share those. We've got methods in place to make sure no one can ever trick us.
And that's another really interesting thing for me, because technically, if you break it down from the accountant's point of view, it's just a product that they can resell. So there is also an opportunity, as well as saving lots of time and stress. There's a potential there for them to make some profit off it as well.
Yeah, so most of our partners uplift our fees by at least 20%, some more, so some a lot more. I heard one that was almost 40%. So it really depends on the accountant's client base, what they're charging already. And that's another one of the fears as well. I think a lot of accountants, not so much now, I'm finding, but previously just aren't charging enough for payroll. It's almost been wrapped up in the whole fees that they charge in general to clients, haven't really considered what the cost of payroll is to them as a business. And then so when they look to outsource, they might have to consider upping their fees. So that is another thing that often comes up, where we can work with them to say, well, you should be pricing right for payroll. It's a really important service, and it's so important. If it's, when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong. So it's a risk factor that should be, covered off in the pricing as well. So yeah, that is another common thing there.
No, that's great. Thank you very much for all that. And so I will put the details in the description of the recording of how our members can get in touch with you guys. We've obviously got the scheme where we fill in a form and we send that over to you.
Yeah.
But I also believe that there will be there is a special offer with working with the Accounts Mastermind. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing that, would be great.
Yeah, so we do free migration. So if you've got 10 payrolls or 300 payrolls, there would be no migration fee to come across to us, and we would handle all of that process. If you're in Moneysoft, for example, we work in BrightPay, so we would need to put it in BrightPay. And we also do 25% off the first month's payroll fees. So that's our special offer.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, thank you very much for joining me from France today in your
You're
castle.
welcome.
And I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yes, thank you. Take care.
Bye.